Jessie Lee Ward overcame professional obstacles to achieve success, posted to VanguardNGR.com. When Jessie Lee Ward talks about what inspired her to get into the network marketing industry, she sums it up to one simple thing. I needed $300 a month to pay for my rent. It was really for nothing more, she says. It turned into a huge animal of its own, but at first, it wasn't about anything more than survival. Her success has not been without challenges. In 2017, I was in a huge storm, Jessie Lee admits. I went through a divorce, major betrayals, a termination, 2 lawsuits, and losing essentially every friend I had. Getting through that and not letting it defeat me was a tremendous part of my success. It's all a part of her never say die mentality. Mindset is everything. The mindset to start, the mindset to continue, the mindset to grow, the mindset to change, the mindset to have more grit than you ever have quit. Nearly everything runs through having a powerful mindset in who you want to be and who you want to become, she says. All that turbulence has become a side note to her success in recent years. I have built 3 multi-million-dollar monthly businesses online in the last 9 years without any paid advertising, Jessie Lee points out. I grew up in a small town in Maryland in poverty and have changed the legacy of my entire family from a decision to go towards entrepreneurship. Diversity is an important thing to her, and it is reflected in how she approaches work. I have several businesses. I am a leader in a network marketing company. I own a hair salon. I trade money. I own part of a construction company, a CBD company, and more. Plans to extend her influence are also in full flow. I am forever growing, she carefully points out. I want to continue to impact the world. I have been utilizing a ton of social media to make that happen. My podcast in general is approaching 1 million downloads with no signs of slowing down. Hey, it's DC here. If you've ever been confused or had a hard time keeping track of all of the stories swirling around Jessie Lee Ward, you're not alone. The stories vary wildly online. The articles written about her have such a varied amount of information. It's hard to know what's true and what's not as true. And in the name of truth and searching to find out what is actually going on, we've gone back to her original podcast and we're going oldest to newest to see what she says about herself, and we're comparing it to what she says today. The conversations have been insightful. I've appreciated all of the feedback. Thank you for your support, and let's find out what she has said together. Let's see what holds up to scrutiny. Let's see what's allegedly been misrepresented. Let's find out from Jessie Lee Ward herself on her podcast, The People's Mentor. Thanks so much for joining me, and let's begin. Hello, it is DC and Karina, and we're gonna listen
Hi
to Jessie
guys.
Ward today. It's gonna be another moment. This is podcast number 3, the very third podcast that she posted back in 20. Gosh, I don't even remember. I had to pull it up, and we're gonna be doing it from my iPad because that worked well last time with the video, and we didn't have streaming issues, so I'm gonna do that with the Spotify today. How is everyone today? Hi Avery. Hi Charlene. Hey
Little
Jessica.
backstory. I was going through my stories on IG and I saw that DC was gonna do this, and I was like, can I join? Because every time I listen to you react to her, I have a lot to say. And because DC is awesome, she was like, heck yeah, let me send you the link. So here I am, freshly out of bed. Got sleeping today. It's been great.
Yes, love it. And you're seeing the beautiful plant collection that's growing in your background, literally growing as in they're
Thank
growing, but there's
you.
more every week. There's been more.
Mhm.
So if
Yes.
y'all haven't checked those out, you have to go see her stories because plants are delightful.
Yeah. They're so relaxing. I think
Yes.
I have a collection of like 46 now.
Oh shoot. Okay.
Mm.
Wow. Cleaning the air for free, basically.
I know. My husband's like, "Do you really need more plants?" And I was like, "Think of it this way." And Tanya was the one that said, "Tell him to say thank you for purifying his air." And I'm like, "You damn right."
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead, share.
I just shared it on my stories too.
Sweet. Awesome. Alrighty, my screen, ta-da, is up. No, it's not up here though. There's no technical difficulties today. Okay, let's see. Remove this.
But it happens. So if it does,
Yeah, I'm just hoping, like those little counters for like how many days it's been since an accident on the floor or whatever. That's what I need for me. How many
yeah,
days
yeah,
is the technical difficulty? And
yeah.
I'm gonna continue to laugh about it until I don't know when, until it stops. Okay. Jessie Lee, your library. Oh, sort. Oldest. Okay. I'm gonna let that pop to load up. I'm going to pop this up. Add to stream. Okay. And I thought it would be in my library, but
You know what I've found interesting so far about you doing these?
yeah.
That her demeanor, the way she talks, the way her delivery is so different.
Yeah.
She sounds a little bit like, not to be like her fan or whatever, but she sounds a little bit more deliberate and a little bit more like she actually wants to help people kind of a little bit at the
Yeah.
beginning. And now it's just like a train wreck. So I find that very interesting how it's evolved from I want to help people to F people. I just want to make my money. Like,
Yeah. And
in my opinion.
I wonder if it's a carryover from the pushback that she's been getting from the social, like YouTube, from the creators saying, or some creators. I mean, Aaron knew her,
Yeah, yeah.
it is, and Savannah. I think I remember seeing the comment from Jessie Lee Ward in Savannah's comment section that said, "Don't blur my face."
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, it just started. So she does sound a lot different.
It's crazy.
Okay. Buckle up, grab a drink, grab a snack. It could be a wild ride. We may have to listen to 2 because this is only 16 minutes, so we'll see. We will see.
Go for it.
Hello, everybody. What's going on? It's Jessie Lee.
You
can also call me Boss Lee, and I'm super fired up to do this episode of the podcast for you. My energy is really, really high tonight. And so I'm going to reel myself in so I don't talk too quickly for you guys, especially those of you who like to listen to podcasts on 1.5. I actually don't think you can listen to my podcast on 1.5 speed because I tried doing it the other night and it was very overwhelming, even for me. So anyway, tonight we're going to talk about the differences between the 3 types of people. And these 3 types of people are haters, naysayers, and your lovers.
Has anyone seen the Theranos, the girl who got in trouble for stealing money basically and saying she had that equipment, who faked her deep voice? You know what I'm talking about?
That Elizabeth Holmes, I think. Elizabeth Holmes is her name. I haven't seen it yet, but I want to because I love Amanda Seyfried. So I want to watch that movie, but I haven't yet.
The story is absolutely wild. She basically dropped, and I'm not saying dropping out of school is bad. I'm saying she dropped out and then went on to convince all of these high up people to be on her board of directors. And I think she had almost $1 billion. I don't know. It was insane. And she changed her voice to be taken more seriously. She lowered
it. Ain't that wild? Ain't that wild?
It's wild.
You know what I don't know if you've seen this. I didn't know who she was until I saw the series because I love what's her name? The girl from Shameless. I don't know if you've ever seen that show.
I have. I can't remember her name though. Gosh, if you in the chat, if you know, let us know.
The one that plays Fiona. She made this series about this like local celebrity from LA. Her name is Angelique, I think.
Okay.
and she was like, she wanted to be famous just to be famous, and now she's like old and wrinkly and forgotten, and she sells merch out of her car.
What?
And it is so sad, like the way people hound her just to get her looking, because she used to be beautiful, and the way
Yeah.
like people hound her just to like kind of poke fun at her, it's so wild to me. And Jessie Lee and who was the other person that reminded me of her is like they have all this spotlight, and then
Mm.
when they fall out of it, I picture them being that way. Like, I used to be this, so buy this for me now, even though I no longer look the same. I can no longer do the same things. Like, it's really sad. It's really, really sad. The series is called Angelique, and it's on Peacock, if you guys are interested
Okay.
on watching it. It's like kind of trippy, but it's also really, really sad. And Jessie Lee and anyone that thinks big of themselves like that remind me of that series.
Yeah, and it really can, you really can fall from grace so quickly when you are in the public eye, and it's wild. It is wild.
Yeah.
This is something I actually taught on stage last year at one of the biggest events I've ever spoken at. There were about 6,000 people there, and it got this crazy roar from the crowd because I think it finally clicked for people that these are 3 types of people that you have to have in your life if you want to be successful. You can't just have people who love you. You can't just have people who are bringing you down, and you can't just have people who hate on you all the time. You really need a balance of all 3. So first, I'm a story girl. And the reason I wanted to talk about this today was because I was very motivated by a story that came back to me today, right around, I don't know, 9:00 at night or something like that.
Her voice is so high. And I think Charlene said that, or Jessica did. It's so much higher in this podcast. And again, she did, I don't know, again, I can't speak to the truthfulness of it. She said that the issue with all of the mold and I did include some of those pictures from Pacer, but I grabbed them from Aaron and Julie Joe's live stream of the damage inside that home that she was renting. And she said that she, I don't know, was negatively impacted by the mold or whatever. So her
And
voice
like, I get that, but also I feel like as someone who has experienced a similar situation to when she was in the house, when me and my husband first moved out the very first time, we rented an apartment, and one thing led to another. Like, we accidentally hit the wall, and there was a hole in the wall, and there was black mold within the wall. So we moved out immediately.
Right.
So if you see like that this health costing issue is in your home, you gotta leave. You gotta move. You gotta. Yeah. I know sometimes it's not that easy to just get up and take off, but like, something has to be done. You can't just stay there. And I mean, I feel bad if supposedly that was already there when she started renting it, but if that was the case, then why did she even rent it in the first place? I don't believe that. I believe that she did the damage to the house, and I'm not saying that that's okay that her voice got messed up because of the mold, but it's like, do something about it.
Some things don't add up to
me.
Yeah,
definitely.
And so and if you're listening, do not play around. If you have a leak, do not have remediation come in weeks later. It's very mold can spread so quickly. It is insane. It's not gonna be like, oh, I hope it hasn't spread. If there's damp and there's dark, it's gonna spread, and it's gonna be so fast. So please don't. And we're not happy that she was negatively impacted by it. We're just stating her voice sounds a lot different today. And if you don't know what her voice sounds like, go to Instagram and take a listen and see.
That. So there was a group of 4 women sitting on an airplane flying to Las Vegas today, and they were running their mouths for an entire 5-hour flight about none other than Jessie Lee Ward, which is just stupid to do anyway, because I mean, come on, man, like, gossip, come on, boss up, quit your gossiping.
Yeah.
And I enjoy dangerous when this happens for a few reasons, but let's continue with the story. So these 4 women didn't realize that in the row directly behind them was somebody who follows me. Somebody who listens to the podcast, somebody who follows me on social media, somebody who's on my Instagram, somebody who likes her some Boss Lee. And instead of tapping them on the shoulder, maybe after hour 1 of constantly hearing them talk about me, she decided to take notes, and then she decided to report back, and she decided to take pictures of them talking about me. She went all out. Like, the amount of love this person has for me. I mean, she falls straight in the lover category. We'll get to in a second here.
That's not healthy.
They talked and they talked and they talked.
Yeah, why don't you why don't you speak up, and why are you encouraging?
That's not healthy. That's no.
Yeah, or again,
that's an obsession. That's weird.
Yeah, and again, people can have their own opinions about stuff too. So I'm not, let people have their own opinions, and if that person did have such an issue, why didn't they speak up instead of spread the gossip? And
in the words of Julie Jordan, say with your chest.
Yeah, and again, the way that her voice sounds, this is all an assumption on my part. She sounds like she's happy that some people out there who she doesn't know are talking about her, even though they were talking negatively about her. Like that her fame was spreading back in, when was this posted? 2017? 2018. April 12th, 2018. So it's just interesting to listen to.
How one of them wishes, that our corporate office from a company I was terminated from would have gone even crazier on the first phone call where they bashed me. Wishes they would have gone on. And one of them was talking about how, well, I don't have too much bad to say because she did build my business. Because you can do that in network marketing. Can't say too much bad.
Hey, Lori.
And they went on and on and on and on. And I just thought to myself, my Lord, first of all, you don't know who might be listening. Second of all, the more you talk about me, the more power you give me. This is the way the universe works. When you use my name and it comes out of your mouth, you literally give me more power via the energy.
You know what I give people when I talk about you, Jessie Lee? And I've said it before. I give people laughs. Let me tell you something. My mom, she doesn't know anything about the anti-MLM community. She barely speaks English. Or like anti-MLM content, but she'll ask me, from time to time, so what are you doing? What are you working on? Blah, 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 blah. And when I told her about Jessie Lee, how she acts, the way she talks, some of the things she's done, some of the things she said to me.
Yeah.
My mom was cracking the fuck up. She was like, she sounds insane. And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, she has like a what's it called? Like a complex. Like she's it. She's the one. Everyone is after her. Everyone is looking at her. Everyone is talking about her. She's like, that's hilarious, but it's so sad. My mom said it too. She's like, she needs to talk to someone. And I'm like, yeah, I feel like I've said it before because people have came after me from that one video that I made about her.
Yeah. And
if you haven't seen it, please go watch it. I think it's like some of my best work yet. But a lot of people came at me in that video. They were like, what if she needs help? And I'm like, well, if she needs help, and I've said this multiple times on Aaron and JJ's live, on Instagram, on wherever. If she actually needs help, I really do hope she gets it. Until then, if she's acting like a piece of poop, that's exactly how I'm going to treat her. Like, that's exactly how I'm going to address her because she knows what she's doing. There's no way that she is like some other unknown person that's high up in a company who doesn't know exactly what's going on yet. I think she knows and she enjoys it. She wants to be the bad guy. She wants to be, as long as she's known and she's the center of attention, she doesn't care what she has to do to get there. That's how I feel about her.
Yeah, she's also said in the past that negative press is just as valuable to her as positive press, and it's all cash money in the bank for her because it's pushing people to her. And the purpose of going back and listening to all this stuff is it some of it directly contradicts what she is speaking and training to today. And there's a lack of acknowledgement that she has all of these podcasts, not chiseled in stone basically, but just as good on the internet. And and maybe it doesn't matter. I did listen to her Facebook Live, part of her Facebook Live this morning, and from the beginning of the live to the end, she said in the beginning that she does not talk about people because I don't know. I think she thinks like broke people talk about people and wealthy people talk about
sad
ideas.
people talk about people.
Yeah, something like that. And if she doesn't have anything positive to say, she's not going to say anything. But then at the end of the live, she was trashing on another business builder who, I guess, had double booked her or a few times for her podcast, and so she was just going off about this lady, even though at the beginning of the live she said she doesn't do that. And so it's
Yeah,
like,
I mean, only she's allowed to change her mind. Only she's allowed to talk about people. Only she's allowed to be the best and lie and get away with those lies. No.
yeah, and it's like, I maybe it doesn't matter to you that you're double speaking, but some people it does matter. It especially matters when what you say is getting people to sign up for your business and you take back what you said and you don't offer that anymore. Like the training. You know what I mean? Like, that
And
she doesn't do anymore.
yeah, and I mean, like this girl that was listening on the plane or whatever, she clearly anything you say matters to her. So can you imagine how confused she is listening to you contradict yourself? Like,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
It is. Yep.
Back into me. That is the way energy works. Not to mention, you're on an airplane full of hundreds of people. For all I know, you just advertised my business to hundreds of people. So I'm going to go ahead and say, thank you. All right, so let's go into another situation because I do like some story time. Actually, we'll go into haters. So,
hello.
The first type of person is going to be your hater, okay? And the interesting thing about haters is that a lot of you hate them. You think, oh my gosh, somebody talked badly about me. Oh my gosh, somebody doesn't like me. Oh my gosh.
Super quickly, I don't hate you, Jessie Lee.
Yeah.
Regardless of, I mean, I said it last time on your live. I was like, I literally hate her. No, I don't. I really don't. I don't hate you. I don't like you. I nothing you. Like, I nothing you. The only thing I'm doing when I talk about you, anytime I talk about you, is point out your shitty behavior, which is what I do with a lot of these big leaders.
Yeah.
So you don't deserve any type of energy, like or love or hate from me. All you deserve is like me calling you out for the shitty behavior and scamming people. That's it. And if you don't like it, then stop doing it.
Yeah, I mean, and I guess like I'm obviously giving her a certain amount of energy because I'm looking at her podcast every week. And, I got bullied in school growing up and there wasn't anybody that ever like stuck up for me. And, and so when I see people being harmed on her team and in general multi-level marketing leaders who are taking advantage of people and misrepresenting the opportunity to get money and harming others, I do want to speak up. And you can call that hate, you can call it bullying. I hope that I stay away from that line of bullying her, but I think talking about her ideas, talking about what she says, talking about how she treats people is fair game in terms of being able to say that's not right. Lying to people for personal profit isn't right. Taking advantage of others, exploiting others, preying on others isn't right. And I hope more people speak up whenever that happens, whether they do it on an online platform or in person, And so, I mean, yeah, when you're making a crap ton of money off of others, I hope more people do speak up and say that what you're doing is wrong if you're doing it in an unethical way.
Yeah, and as far as approach comes, I know that I have a little bit more of an aggressive approach than some of my fellow YouTubers.
Oh yeah, no, we love the spice. We love the spice.
So I'm working on that. Like I wanna have a little bit more of a balance when it comes to my approach. Like I'm still gonna give you that heat, but I don't want to be as mean because I have during this break that I've been taking, I've been going back and watching some of my videos, and I'm like, damn, you shouldn't have said that. Like you should have sat on that for like a second. So I'm working on it, but even then just because I call her out, regardless of whether it's with a lot of spice or a little bit more mild, I feel like it's about her behavior. It's not something personal. And I feel like that's the issue with people like her and that Ray guy that Ray JJ just did a live on. That's their issue. Like they take it way too personal when it's not. It's about their behavior. And it's
Hey,
It's
Melissa.
just them trying to get hi Melissa. It's just them trying to get away with shitty behavior, and the fact that we won't let them is what bothers them, even though they say they don't care and that they love us because we're free PR or whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, I mean, if you listen to this and you think, "Wow, she's incredible. I want to go be a part of her team." I mean, she obviously wants that. I'm hoping that it brings into the light that there is doublespeak going on. And again, just to go into your point of the range, the kind of the spectrum of different creators on YouTube, I love it. I do love how spicy you are. I think it, and again, I think there's also room for like, I'm kind of monotone. I'm totally kind of monotone sometimes. I'm kind of like, ugh, and I'm a very
Yeah.
nervous about saying stuff because I am kind of a timid person, but I see people like you, I see people like Chelsea, Aaron, Julie, Joe, all the other creators, and I'm like, oh, like I love like how
But we
passionate
need
you are.
people like you. We need people like you because there's people that can, for example, for me, right? I feel like my niche is more the translation of things and like, translating stuff in Spanish, giving that information to my people. Whereas, let's say you, Hannah, Deanna, when I need actual information, like actual information with sources and like something that I'm going to learn from, that's the three channels I go to all the time. Of course, Erin and JJ,
Yeah.
all the time. Same with Chelsea. I love all of them.
Yeah.
But it just depends on my mood.
Yeah, for sure. And
If
I
I
love
want
it.
some spice, I hit up Chelsea and Savannah. If I want something a little bit more, still spicy, but a little bit more milder is JJ and Erin. And if I just want to chill and learn some shit, I always go to you, Hannah, and Deanna, and Isabella.
Yeah.
And Isabella has a little bit of spice too. I
Yeah.
love her, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of thank you so much. I feel like also I'm a good like, hey, would you like to fall asleep? Like, let's learn some MLM stuff and go to someone DM'd me and they're like, I get so sleepy when I listen to you. I'm like, well, I'm gonna take it as a compliment. And they're like, yeah, I mean it's soothing. I'm like, okay,
I
okay.
actually listen to you or to Hannah when I'm like falling asleep and I just wanna like I'm catching up on stuff and then I always go back and rewatch it from the beginning while I'm doing something.
Yeah,
like
no,
all the time.
I appreciate it. I mean, I appreciate it either way. So thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
A blog article about me. Oh my gosh, somebody did a podcast about me. Oh my gosh, somebody made a Facebook post about me. Oh my gosh, somebody's on Instagram doing all these nasty things. And you don't stop to think for a second that is literally a public relations, marketing, and advertising firm all built into one for you and your business. I'm going to say it again. That is a free public relations, marketing, and advertising firm for your business built into their big, fat, ugly, nasty mouths. Do you understand that?
I mean, I wouldn't necessarily characterize our mouths as ugly, but I mean, and again, this is coming from a marketing perspective. It's the field that I'm in. I work for a marketing company, and I wouldn't say it is the best route to go by keeping an uncontrolled amount of haters. not she classifies them as haters, negatively dissenting to what she is doing in her business. That's not necessarily the strongest PR move I've ever seen in my life. And you can say, "Oh, it's great. It's free, whatever." It's going to get out of control at some point. It's not, I don't know.
Yeah. And also we could say the same about it being the other way around. I mean, y'all have cosplayed us on stages in front of thousands of people before. So we can say the same. Yeah, okay, we're free PR for you, sure. Hey girl. But I mean, you talk about us all the time. You called some of us out by name, not me personally, but she's talked about JJ. She's talked about Chelsea. She's talked about Erin for sure.
Yeah.
So thanks for the PR for my friends, I guess.
Yeah. And it's just the thing that they could do if they really wanted to create a better image across the board is actually address the points that are brought up by more of the anti multi-level marketing creators or people within their own organization who have actual questions, because the things they're answering on the stage on GoPro is not it's not what we're asking here. It's what they think in their kind of contemptuous perspective about those poor little people who just can't understand the value of network marketing. It's not the same as actually going and saying, what issues do people have? And am I going to listen with the perspective to actually hear what they're saying? Or am I just going to wait for them to stop talking because I think they're stupid? You know?
Yeah, and if you're going to debunk us, do it with sources, not by talking in circles like you do all the time. Like
Yeah.
if you're trying to have a dog in the fight, you gotta bring the dog. You can't come by yourself.
Yeah. I mean, and is it again? And I was talking to my dad about Jessie Lee at one point was saying that her organization has better percentages than other people, like in other income disclosures. Or she's even said, well, these include people who are buying the product, like the kidnappers. So it doesn't really reflect who's winning. She could easily export her downline into an Excel spreadsheet, and she could sort it and remove the customers and tell us what those percentages look like on her team. If they're higher, great.
I highly doubt that though.
Yeah,
That's
but
why
again,
she won't do it.
I know she won't do it. But if I'm saying that would be a transparent marketing move that would shut us up, because at that point we can say, yeah, the numbers still suck, but hers are higher than the regular income disclosure from Prove It.
And the thing is, when people ask her to do stuff like this, she's like, oh no, it goes against compliance. Yet she has shared her income multiple times.
Yep. Yes.
So are you going to follow compliance or not? Again, the contradictions, ma'am. Yes. Your following must be so goddamn confused.
Yeah, it's sporadic, and it's self-serving, in my opinion. Okay.
You didn't pay for that advertising. You didn't have to pay a dime. You just had to do what you needed to do. You were just being you, and they're literally advertising for you. And here's the thing, not everybody's going to like you. But those haters who won't stop talking about you, they are going to inevitably run into somebody who does love you and is like, huh? Who? What? Who's Jessie Lee? Hold on a second. Who is #BossLee? Hold on a second. Let me go on her Facebook. I like her.
Great.
You're making me money. You need haters. Quite frankly, if you don't have haters, you're probably doing something wrong. You're probably not shaking up the world enough. You're probably not making an impact. You're probably not, changing lives if everybody is in your fan club. You can't have a fan club of everybody.
Changing lives for the better or for the worst?
Yeah, I mean...
Be specific, ma'am.
I mean, I think that there's some truth in saying not everyone's going to like you. I get that.
Yeah, for sure.
To explain away the amount... whatever was going on with the people having issue with how she treats people, and saying like, oh, well, this falls into a natural rule that happens. Like, nobody ever likes everybody. It's not quite the same. It's different. It's different because we're specifically responding to the way you're doing business, the way that you are treating your team, the way that there's deceptive recruiting practices going on, the way that I don't even know. Like some of the cult stuff, the behavior control during the 90-day run, you can't take a nap, that you have to go to all these Zooms that you, that like they're doing. I don't know. There was just all this stuff that all of them do with these different type of runs. And it's.
You know what also baffles me about her? She talks about how we're not happy with our lives all the time. Whenever she talks about anti-MLM creators, she's like, they're miserable. They're not happy, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, are you sure? Like, are you 100% positive? Because last I heard, the one who going home with your dogs was you. You don't have any actual friends. You have downline. So it does make me sad for her sometimes, honestly. I do feel bad for her sometimes that she doesn't know what I don't know that she wants children or not. I mean, that's her business, but it makes me sad that she doesn't know the love of a child. It doesn't make me sad that she doesn't have the love of a partner, at least that we know of. It makes me sad that she's not like close with her mom. It makes me so sad that she like dives into this, that one day is eventually going to end, and what is she going to be left with? It does make me sad for her, to be honest. Like, yeah, she pisses me off a lot. Like, I always got a lot to say about her, but I also feel sad for her.
Yeah, I mean, it is. I mean, not having friends is lonely. Like, I move around a lot. I probably have being able to connect with people on Discord or find people like you on Instagram and Kayla. And, it's like, it's great having people that you can interact with. So if you are, cut off from people and you don't, again, and I would say that's more of like it's not the same as having people like that you can be friends in person with. And so it's like, I can
It's not
see
the
how.
same. We still have our
Yeah.
group of friends. Like, at least
Yeah.
I know, like, Kayla, that's my
Yeah.
bitch. That's my bestie right there. Tanya,
Yeah.
that's my friend. Like, we're friends. Like, we have each other's numbers.
Yep.
Some creators are uncomfortable with sharing numbers, and hey, I respect that. And we still have very deep, important conversations, very personal conversations, and we're like actually there for each other, and not because our content depends on each other or because we're gonna make money off of each other, or like it's not a what's it called, a transactional thing. It's not that. Like, we're just friends because we want to be friends. We support each other because we want to. We help out each other out because we want to. So it makes me sad that she doesn't have anything like that, even if it just is via online.
Yeah. And again, I hope that we're wrong in that she does have true connections with.
I do too.
I truly hope. And if you're listening, if you're on her team and you think that we're just the worst people in the world for ragging on your leader, I don't wish ill on her. I don't wish ill on you. I hope that people are fully informed when they sign up for the multi-level marketing opportunity. I hope that they're not using undue influence and cult behaviors to keep you in when you want to leave. I hope that you're not being emotionally abused and yelled at for running your own business as an independent contractor because you do not have a boss. The person you report to is the person you signed the contract with, not your upline. That's what I
mean, we never wish ill on her, no matter how annoying she is, no matter how shitty of a person she is, no matter how much she tricks people into doing stuff. We never wish ill on anybody. At least I personally don't.
Yeah, I don't either.
Jessie doesn't either, It's just because we don't want people to go through stuff. That is why we expose these people that do this type of stuff. Like, this is why we expose the scam that is multi-level marketing, because we don't want other people to go through stuff like this. I personally was never in an MLM, but a lot of my online friends were. And again, that's part of the reason why I want to take a little bit more of a level-headed approach to anti-MLM content creation, because I don't want to hurt any of my friends' feelings. But, again, we don't wish ill on her or Ray or anybody else. It's just, we're not going to sit here and let them keep scamming people without saying anything.
Right. Yep. Exactly.
People who hate Oprah. There's people who hate a lot of people. Let's use the example of the Kardashians. A lot of you claim to hate them. Why is Kylie Jenner about to be the youngest billionaire in the world? Somebody likes her. The more y'all talk about her and how much you don't like her makeup and you don't like her baby daddy and you don't like her baby and you don't like her and you don't like her family and you don't she's cashing checks. Okay.
It doesn't cashing checks is not the point. And again, I'm going to bring up one of the business ventures that I think it was Kylie, maybe it was Kendall. One of them had the swimsuits that were trash, that were like the worst quality, and I'm sure that was a production issue. But if you're not invested and then you're exposing the people who like you to bad products and then expecting them to purchase those products because of your name, and you can't back that up with quality merchandise, that does become an issue. You're just trying to rake in as much money without inserting any integrity or ethics into the business opportunity. So that does become a problem. Scamming people is an issue, and I'm not saying that they scam someone. I'm saying in a situation where you're raking in money, if you're scamming people, that is the issue. And just because you can bring in a lot of money doesn't absolve you of that bad behavior.
Yeah.
All right, so you need haters. You really do. The next group of people are your naysayers. And this is a hard category. This is actually the worst, if you ask me, because naysayers are hard. Naysayers are generally people who they say things and they think they're being helpful, but they're being hurtful. Let me give you an example. Naysayers are often family members. Naysayers are often moms and dads who go, oh, Joni, I just don't understand why you got to do that business, that silly business of yours. Why couldn't you just go to school like everybody else? Why couldn't you just get a 9-to-5 job like everybody else? Why couldn't you just worry about your 401k like everybody else, Joni? Why is it always got to be dreams? Why you always got to be dreaming about things? This is dangerous. I think it's a mistake. Okay? Those people don't hate you. Those people don't, have ill wishes towards you. Those people do want to see you win. But the problem is they want to see you win in their parameters. They don't want you to dream big. They don't want you to be great.
I don't think that's completely accurate. I don't think that reflects someone who cares about you saying, are you sure this is a good idea? Do you have enough money to start the business? Do you have enough time to do it? Have you thought about this, and this? Vetting an idea doesn't mean that we want to kill the idea. It means that sometimes that sifting process makes the idea better, or makes the start better, or ask some questions that maybe you hadn't thought about. Challenging an idea isn't bad. Asking questions isn't bad. And I don't know what you think about that, Karina, but I mean,
yeah, I think sometimes when we ask questions, or when we say maybe you shouldn't do it like this, it's not because we don't agree with your dream. It's because maybe we want you to make some adjustments. For example, we want you to make an adjustment because we don't want you to end up we don't want you to burn yourself, or we don't want you to burn other people in the process. Burn your reputation. For example, if you open up like a shop and then your stuff is trash and you refuse to refund people, exchange for people, whatever, when you try to do this again, your reputation is going to be all over the floor. So if it's somebody that loves you and cares for you and they bring up these questions, it's not because they don't believe in you or they don't trust you with your dream. It's just maybe we should look at it from a different angle so that you don't have negative results from going about it the way you want to go about it.
Yeah. And if there's another path to get there where you're in less financial instability, or if it's, there's other ways to do it. And if you're so tied to the idea that it can only be your way, and that everybody else asking questions is, painted as the dream killer, I mean, that is a very adolescent, it's a very immature perspective to take, in my opinion.
They want you to be average just like them. Another example of naysayers tend to be friends of yours from when you were growing up. Why? Because you're better than them now. It is really hard for you to lose a friend, isn't it? Right? It's really hard for that friend who you grew up with, who you went to Awanas with, who you went to Girl Scouts and Boy Scouts with, who we can't do both, but who you went to Girl Scouts with, who you went to church with, who you went to elementary, middle, high school with, who all of a sudden isn't your friend anymore because you said, I'm going to be a boss. I'm going to do my own thing. I'm going to run my own business. I'm going to run my own life. I'm going to be happy. I'm going to be happy. I'm going to be healthy. I'm going to be wealthy. I'm going to be all.
Are you happy though? Like, are you happy, Jessie? Again, we go back to you have no one to go home to except for your dogs, which are so cute. But are you happy? Like, I'd much rather I live in this super tiny house. Like, this is my living room area behind me. My kitchen area is way smaller, and then we have 2 rooms. I'd much rather live here in this little tiny house, loved by my child, loved by my husband, being able to help my dad-in-law, having all my plant babies, even if we're a little crowded, then have all the money that you have and have no one.
Yeah, and again, I don't know. We only see what she's posting online. We only see what she wants to share with us, and some of the stuff that she shares with us is a little bit shocking. And again, I guess the whole not having a lot of friends things, for me, it's hard to make friends. So it might be harder for her than maybe it's, I don't know. I think it's
I think it's two different situations. I think it's hard for you to make friends because you're shy. You said it yourself. You're a little timid. So I think for her, people are scared of her. People are not willing to deal with that every day. Like all of that she is. And supposedly she is completely different behind the scenes. Like this is her persona, and then she has like her normal person.
Yeah.
Who, from what I've been told, is very shy, very timid. Like I get that, but then I guess it would be understandable that way why her friends are only her downline or like her team of people.
Yeah.
So
And she does say she works a lot. She has said that for years. It does seem like, and I don't know if that's the case. It does look like she does a lot of Zoom calls. It looks like she's now getting paid to speak at events, or she's
mhm.
doing some events still for free. She's a part of that 100 million, whatever, that $100,000 mastermind thing that she does different events at, or she goes to. So I know she's busy for sure. And again, on my channel, I do try to be somewhat balanced. I try to My dad does the same thing when he live streams with me. He's like, "Have you thought about
He's
this?"
awesome, by the way.
And so I know that's not like the most it's not the most fun because I do, it's like some things it's easy to see of like, oh yeah, she's this way or he's this way, or and is there a little bit of room to say also this? Sometimes, yeah, and I think saying the other parts doesn't necessarily take away from the whole message of, I think that multi-level marketing overall hurts more people than it helps.
Yeah.
And when you do it in a way like it seems like the Empire is doing it, and a lot of other big teams are doing it, it seems even more problematic because no one's no their companies are not curbing that behavior. So
Yeah, and one other thing that I want to touch on, and I actually touched on this on Aaron's podcast. If you guys haven't heard it,
oh yeah, it's
I
fire.
sound like
So
a total dork, but it was a good time. So go listen to her, go support her.
yeah,
But it's the whole work life balance for me. You know,
yeah,
like it's okay to start something new and be like deep into it and be excited and want to do more with it. Like trust me, I get it. I have that all the time. I had that with the little baskets I'm making. I had that with my plants. I had that with YouTube, like at the beginning of YouTube, which I'm still pretty new, but I did have a little bit of an issue finding a work-life balance. Like I was just trying to stay on top of everything and make sure that I got things out. But I'm not willing to compromise spending time with my child and my family to put out some content. And I
yeah,
know a lot of other creators feel the same way. And I also know that there's a lot of creators that have said, that this kind of feels MLM because of all the work that it goes into it. And hey, that's a you problem. I feel like we have always, especially I like the circle of online friends that I have always encouraged that balance and
yeah,
boundaries
yeah,
and setting a little bit of a schedule for yourself. And yeah, it's a little hard at the beginning. I'm not going to sit here and lie. If you want to do this every day, you don't have little tiny humans depending on you. Hey, do it.
yeah,
More power to you.
yeah,
However, that is not what I can do. I have 3 people that depend on me. So
right.
it's not like a thing that I can do. So just, I feel like if she found a little bit of a work-life balance, we wouldn't be on her ass as much and she'd be happier. She'd probably be happier.
Yeah, and again, I know I was listening to Emily Baker's live on Friday, and she was talking to her lawyer buddies, and they were saying that as they got into their career, they found it even more important to find a hobby and to have
Mm,
something outside of being at the law firm, and like how, and again, as they spent more time with their family, they just kind of realized that life wasn't all about work. And if
yeah.
you're creating on YouTube and you feel like, hey, this isn't what I wanted, this isn't what I thought, this is like not you, Karina, but someone watching
Yeah.
where they're like, this feels like an MLM, I don't like it. You don't have to keep creating. I'm not saying that to be
Yeah.
mean. I'm saying like this isn't a cult. No one's
Maybe
forced.
it's just not for you.
Maybe it's not for you. Maybe you
Mm,
can, move a few things around. There is a learning curve when you're first starting to learn how to edit videos and do all that. That's in any type of job. And
it's
so,
a learning process for sure.
yeah, and it's just the great thing is when you leave an MLM, you realize that all of that all or nothing talk, that there's only one way to do something, there's only one right path, or that your decision is your final decision. That's not the case. You can change your
Mm,
mind at any time, and that's great. That's fantastic.
yeah.
Um, yeah, okay.
There are to have out there in the world. And it's going to start with some personal development, and it's going to start with a lot of hard work, and it's going to start with a lot of belief in myself. It's not easy for that friend to see you do that because it projects on them. It makes them go, oh my gosh, what's wrong with me? You can't get any better. I like you how you are. That's a naysayer. So they try to stop you by saying, whoa, quit working so hard on that part-time business you're trying to start, man. Whoa. Why do you always feel like you need to be a millionaire, Sally? Like, is it that serious? It is that serious. This is serious as a heart attack. My dreams are important. My goals are important. My ambitions are important. I'm a go. Okay? Those are your naysayers. All right? They don't mean it with malintent. They're just naysayers because they hate their own lives. And that is not your...
That is condensing the idea of someone giving you feedback because they hate their lives. People are more complex than that. People who
it's
care
not
about
always hate. It's not always criticism. Sometimes it's just pointing something out,
Yeah. And I was talking to my dad, and I was asking him, if someone's in a multi-level marketing company, what are questions you can ask that don't have ulterior motive, that you're waiting to get to a certain point in the conversation? And you can say, like, hey, was this opportunity what you expected it to be? Are you working more than you thought you would work? Are you making the money that you thought that you would make? Are you asking them things where they can, like, be excited about something that they're in and actually be interested in what they're doing? And because, again, if you were told that you only had to work something 5 to 10 hours a week and that you would be able to bring in, $1,000 a month, something like that, and you're working 60 hours a week and you're pulling in $500 a month, that's a different story. That is something to say, do I need to reevaluate? Is this just
them being deceptive?
Yeah, and that is and asking those questions because they care about you doesn't mean they're a hater. It doesn't mean that I'm unhappy with my life. It might mean that I care about you as a person. And if the time that you spend on a thing was a deal breaker and you're spending, 50 hours more a week doing it, that could be a big issue. And if you're so dialed in and you can't step back and look at it, your friends asking you that question could really help you make a decision faster to say, you know what? Even though I am working more, I like working more, and I'm okay with that. Or they said, wow, I didn't realize I was working so much. Maybe I should take a step back because this isn't what I thought. And $500 spread out over 6, 12, 8, 240 hours a month, that doesn't sound that good.
Yeah, I mean, if we ask you something like, so I saw that you posted that you make money for washing your hair, or you make money for posting whatever. How much did you get paid for washing your hair that one time? How much did you get paid for that one particular post? Or if you're posting that you don't need to recruit, you only do it off of sales, and then here you are making most of your money from recruits, and we're asking you, can you tell me kind of a little bit of a ratio of what makes you more money? Which one is your biggest paycheck? It's not because we don't want to be supportive. It's just, are you lying to yourself? And not just that, are you lying to other people? And it's because we care. Like, if it's someone that you actually know, it's because we care. It's not because we want to crush your dreams and we're haters and that. Like, and I tell you this because I had an experience like that with my best friend of 20 years, over 20 years, actually. She thought that I just was like hating and stuff. And that was not the case. That was not the case. I was just worried that she was going to be scammed. And at that point, I had just heard a lot of stories, and my approach was really, really not the best. And I talked about that on the podcast with Erin too. It wasn't the best, but I feel like she's out now. So I guess there were some questions that she was asking herself. So just maybe work on your approach before you say anything, if it's someone that you personally know, because you don't want to get cut out, and you don't want them to think that they cannot come to you when they finally like open up their eyes and need someone there, because everybody else is going to be gone. Everybody on their team, all those people are going to be gone, and we don't want anyone that leaves an MLM to feel alone, which is why we're so like open-armed here. Like, I feel like I have never turned anyone away that are like, hey, I'm in an MLM, but I have some questions. I'm like, hey, I'm here. No problem. We're here.
Yeah, and again, because we're not taking money, like if my YouTube ever gets monetized, YouTube is the one paying out on AdSense, or the ads who are choosing to advertise on the advertisers who are choosing to advertise on YouTube and get allocated to the time watched on my videos. YouTube's the one that allocates that and pays that out to different creators. The person asking the question, I have no vested interest in
I make
saying one
nothing.
thing to them, because they're
Mhm.
not paying into my downline and I'm not making a commission check off of, them. So my advice is separate from any monetary like gain from the person I'm talking.
We benefit nothing. We make nothing. People don't pay us. There's not like this anti-MLM community bank account that pays us each time we get someone out of an MLM or whatever. It's not a thing. It's not a thing. We do it
Yeah.
because we are genuinely interested in people's well-beings. That's it.
Yeah. And cults have been around for hundreds of years. Scams have been around
Mhm.
probably cults have been around for thousands of years. And so it's not necessarily something that's going away. Like, ideally, multi-level marketing, the compensation plan wouldn't be what it is. And, hope even if you're saying, well, you're just making money off other people, I would love to not have to talk about people's bad behavior and how it's exploiting others. I would love for there to be no exploitation in the world. I would love for people not to be harmed financially and emotionally by others. And people
I
have
would
been
love to just make plant videos and I have to talk about this, but here we are.
I think you should break that part of your new intro, Current.
Right?
That would be great. That would be great. Oh man.
Problem. Generally, naysayers and haters, by the way, are just 100% projecting on what they wish they were. Those haters, those people on the airplane, they hate that I make more money than they do.
What?
They hate that I have an evangelical following. They hate that my social media is ridiculous. They hate that I can crush any stage in any industry. Well, as long as it's around business. They hate that I've got a rockin' body. They hate that I'm confident.
What?
They hate that I'm a powerful woman. They hate
Yes.
that I won't talk about them. They hate it. So they project.
But you are talking about us. Hello.
At least since 2017 or 2018. At least since 2018, you've been recording it. Yeah, evangelical following. I don't
care that you have a rocking body or not. I don't love people for what they look like. I love people for who they are.
Yeah, and how they treat people.
Yeah.
That's kind of the stuff that matters at the end of the day. How you treat people and who you choose to be. So
yeah, like good for you if you are confident with your body. Hey,
that's
good
amazing.
for you. Hell yeah.
Yeah, and I'm glad like she seems like she feels better about herself since she got her $136,000 veneers done. Can everyone do that? No, but I'm glad. I truly am. Having low confidence is not a great feeling. So like I am glad that she feels better about herself. Like that's great when you see that boost of confidence in other people and you can say like, "Oh, you're lying. You don't really care that she's happy." I
care that she's happy. As someone who was raised in a very toxic Mexican household, like my mom has 9 brothers and sisters and we all grew up together. They all have like 3 to 5 children, like all my mom's brothers and sisters, and we all grew up together. And as the ugly duckling of all the girls, who I was always made to feel like, and I know what I look like, like you don't have to tell me how I look. Like I know who I am. And just as someone who was very insecure growing up because of the things that people said to me, I love nothing more than her self-confidence. Like,
yeah,
good for her. That does not affect anyone else but her. Like I'm proud of her that she has that within her, because a lot of people don't, and it takes a lot of people to get to that point. And that's why recently, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I have been sharing a lot of like little outfits that don't necessarily cover my entire body up. Why? Because I love myself. Like a few years back, I would have never been able to do that. But my husband makes me feel like the most confident, most baddest, most beautiful bitch in the world. And I love him for that.
Yeah.
And he was the one who boosted my confidence. He was the one that boosted my self-esteem, and he lets me wear whatever the heck I want. And he encourages me to wear cute shit, which for me, I'm wearing basketball shorts and a shirt, but this is like my comfort kind of thing, you know? But anytime we're going to go out, he's like, you want to wear that one thing you bought, or like, you know, you should wear that. That's really pretty and that's really cute. And he'll tell me all day how fucking hot I am. Even though I sometimes don't feel that way about myself, but if she by herself can have that confidence, good for her. Like, I applaud that in her or anybody else. Like, we want nothing but good things for people.
Yeah.
Including that.
Yeah, and I love that you have that with your husband and that he is your hype
He's
crew.
the cutest. Don't get me wrong, sometimes I want to choke him still, kick him, you know, something. Yeah, I mean, but, you know, that's my man's, and he's the best.
That's amazing. And again, I think there's more of a dynamic perspective about disagreeing with ideas and disagreeing with how people treat others, and still being able to say, yeah, I'm glad that she feels better about herself. And I'm glad that you can see that kind of like boost of like, when you know, like when you can see like someone feels cute and they like just for themselves, like you can see that and you're happy for someone else. And I can be happy about that in her, and also say, hey, treating people like shit. You know, multiple things can be true about something at the same time. And a lot of times in cults or in commercial cults or in multi-level marketing, they say there's only one line, there's only one truth, and there's only one, you know, very undynamic thing about, you know, this. And like, if it's not this, you're out. And that's not the case. Life is more.
Yeah, I mean, we want her to be happy. We just want her to stop scamming people too, you know? It's
we want every multi-level marketing person to stop scamming others.
Yeah, that's it. But that doesn't mean we want them to not be self-confident or not love themselves. No, those are two different things. Yeah. They don't go together.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah. They wish I would talk about them. They really do.
You're doing it right now.
And the naysayers are the same way. They're projecting because they wish that they were ambitious enough to dream like you. And they wish that they were smart enough to go after their crazy, ambitious, audacious goals. They wish that they were like you. That's why they have to say those things.
What?
It says nothing about you that you want to change the world. It says everything about them. Okay. And then you've got your lovers.
I do want to change the world. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing.
Yeah. And again, it does start with one person speaking up, and regardless of how much influence or how big you think that, how far of an impact you think your voice can reach, I can promise you speaking up, if you see someone getting bullied and you speak up, like that's going to impact that one person, probably in a more meaningful way than being on a platform and trying to educate on stuff, like actually being able to impact someone's life. You know, I would have given anything to have someone stand up for me when I was getting bullied. And I tried to stand up for other people, even though I got bullied a lot, because I was like, I wish someone would have done this for me. And even though it's scary, I want to try to do it for other people. And so I don't agree with what Jessie Lee Ward is saying at all.
Yeah. And I feel like the reason why I am so loud about this and having this information out in Spanish is because I've seen a lot of like the little guy get, and I've always been that person that does not shut up. Like if I see something wrong, I stop it. Like I've always been that person. And I don't know why, because when I was going through stuff, nobody ever stood up for me, especially as a child. Like I said, I mentioned, with that toxic household environment, like nobody ever stood up for me. So I feel like maybe that's why I'm so passionate about, you know, if someone is being done wrong, I have to say something. I have to do something about it.
Yeah. Yep. And it, again, you definitely, it grows empathy in your heart for other people when you've been through something like what you're saying and wanting to speak up for other people.
Just for your ego, right? Like that girl on the plane who took the time to send me a message on Facebook and give me a play-by-play for 5 hours of the crap these people were saying about me. Do you understand that is a lover? That girl would walk through fire for me. That girl would probably do some crazy things for me. I could sell anything. And she'd be like, Jessie Lee, take my money. I trust
you. That's not love. That's an obsession.
What? Again, she has said this. She still says this, that she's saying... She says this today that she said back in 2018 that she could sell air to someone And because of her, like, who she is as a leader, people want to follow her. I think that's maybe not the healthiest thing. I would say in a more acceptable way, she's probably a really good salesperson. I haven't seen her close a sale, but I could assume because of how large her team is, she is a good salesperson. Now, thinking that you can sell people something that's free, that's kind of like falling into the...
Is that God complex again? Like, I can
Yeah.
do anything, I can do anything, I can be anything.
Yeah,
I
and
can
it's
walk
like,
on water. No.
yeah, I'm just, man.
I love you. Okay? And it's good to have these people because when you look like a hot bag of trash steaming on the sidewalk, they still say you look good, baby. Okay? And it's good to have those kinds of people because when you have crazy, crazy goals, they go, you got this, girl, you got this. Okay? You need those people sometimes because sometimes your confidence is low and sometimes you're like, I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure I can do this. And then those lovers are there to go, babe, go, baby. Go, baby. Go,
Yes,
baby. You
Sonic.
got this. So yeah, it is important to have some lovers in your life, but you better take those lovers and love them just as much as you love those naysayers and you love those haters. Because I'm telling you, the lovers will make you a little bit of money, but they don't rant and rave the way those haters do. Let's go back to that as an example, okay? I got some more stories for you, personal life stories. Y'all always like these. Let's talk about the first time I left a company. So first company I left, I was rightfully terminated from them, to be totally honest with you. There was a clause in their policies and procedures that said that once you rank advance past having 3 recruits, you can no longer build another business. Well, once I realized that company was a gigantic scam that preys on women, not PRAY, like we're not going to church, bless up. We're literally preying like a predator and a prey, PREY, okay? So once I realized that, I did join a multi-level marketing company and immediately terminated, which, no skin off my back. They didn't come after me. I didn't go after them. It was kind of like, you guys are delusional and your CEO's robbing people, in my opinion. So, it is what it is. What are we going to do? Move along. Oh, but then the haters came out and the haters made me so much money. It was absurd. I don't even know how to explain this. I shot to making multiple 6 figures a month because of them. I mean, quite frankly, they still do. They can't stop posting about me. They can't stop talking about me. I see them in my Instagram stories still. The big leaders are still watching. Thank you for watching, by the way. I see you. You know who I'm talking about because you probably listen to this too. You're in my Instagram story every day. What you talking about? I can see who watches. Thank you, technology. Thank you, Mark Zuckerberg, for making that a function. I see you. I don't look at your stuff. Why are you looking at my stuff? I'll tell you why, because they still talk about me. It is a beautiful thing. It's made me so much money. I'll never, ever, 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 ever forget when somebody told me that I was paid some deal to go to some company and and they're paying her $30,000 a month and bunch of lies and Manellis telling lies. That's what haters like to do. They like to lie.
So I think, from what I understand, she was in Slumber Parties. And then Slumber Parties was bought out by Pure Romance. And correct me in the chat if I'm wrong. She was terminated from Pure Romance. And then she went to Modier. And then she was sued while she was still a member of Modier with someone, one of her, either her cross lines by Advocare for recruiting people from Advocare into Modier. And then she was terminated from Modier for having a relationship with the chief marketing officer. And then
allegedly it was an affair, from what I understand. Like he was married.
Okay.
Allegedly.
Well, but I think that the contractual issue was that I think that distributors were not supposed to have relationships with the C-suite or anybody on the administrative side of the company. And then she went to prove it. So I think sometimes her stories are so wildly different, it's hard to keep track. So I'm trying to, and that, again, that's from what I understand of her, I don't know, business record, and everything from Mary Kay to Prove It falls under direct selling. And the different types of compensation plans, direct selling meaning I am selling to someone else, even if I have a large team or not. And so multi-level marketing, meaning you get paid on multiple levels, falls underneath direct selling. So she will say in her podcast that direct selling is different than multi-level marketing when it's direct selling and then multi-level marketing falls underneath it. It's just a type of direct selling. Mm-hmm. So just wanted to clear that up.
Project. And I went a little crazy, guys. I went on Facebook Live. I took all the things that I had won currently. I took a bicycle up in my office. I took some Nike watches in my office. I took some shoes, some Louboutins, all kinds of crazy stuff. And I did this fiery live where I was like, really? I was purchased to come here? No, but I won these. No, but I won these. No, I'm good. What can I say? I am the best. What are you going to do about it? Okay. And the live went crazy. It went so crazy. And it offended one of the people in that company so much because, again, she projects, right? Girlfriend shared the video. She shared the video on her wall. She shared the video on her wall. I had 18 large pack recruits in one night. Are you kidding me? She rocketed my business. Ironically and coincidentally, one of the people who joined ended up being one of the people on the airplane today. So I don't know why that girl didn't learn the lesson, but YOLO. Oh, anyway, I was blown away by it. She made me my first $1 million.
I don't think so.
Let me say it again.
Not anymore, at least. There was something that happened on the live earlier today where she said, and I don't know who she was talking about. I have to go back and I don't even want to spend the time, but she said that I'm not talking about this person anymore because he wasn't who I thought he was. So I don't know who that was. She didn't say the name. So oh, okay. Jessica is our resident detective. So she knows pretty much everything.
Gave me my first $1 million. She hated me so much that she had to run her mouth about me so loudly that it made me my first $1 million.
Is she talking about the person from Pure Romance who didn't like her and that sent people up to Modir? Or I'm having a hard time tracking.
I don't remember which one of the CEOs or like the main people from a company sold the company, but I believe it was Pure Romance. Just because they hated her, because they couldn't stand her, they sold allegedly, I have been told and I have heard, through the grapevine, that's what that was.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, I know very limited to nothing other than I started following her when she was still in Pure Romance, when she was still married to Shane, and so I was following her on socials, and then she ended up getting terminated, and then she said, I'm still following through on all my prizes for all my Pure Romance team because I'm a woman of my word, or whatever she said. Mm-hmm. And then she went to Modir, and then it's been a cluster. So
yeah. Hallelujah! Praise Jesus! Thank you. Keep running, yo, stupid mouth. Okay, moving along. So then it happened again, right? So this was just dumb. This was just dumb, dum 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 dum. This one again, I can't talk too much about it because there's
she
a
does
current
talk
lawsuit.
About
I'm
people.
suing them for a lot of money.
She does talk about people.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how much, but it's a lot of money. It's an open lawsuit, so you can get on Google. Okay, so anyway, my former company, they terminate me. We're not really sure why. So when this happens, I warned them. I said, you better not go crazy. I highly suggest not going crazy and hating on me publicly. It would be a very big mistake because I'm a likable person. I'm friendly. I'm charismatic. I care about people. I'm big on relationships. I'm a lover. I'm not a fighter. I work hard. I'm the real deal.
What relationships?
Yeah.
You're big on relationships. Okay, which one? What actual legit relationships do you have?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, and again, obviously it has a lot of influence to talk people into moving to Texas. I mean, can you imagine? I mean, think about this. Let's say you have friends downline spread out. So maybe even less of a connection spread out all over the United States. And then you have so much influence that you talk them into moving to where you are. That's an incredible amount of influence. Even though we have lots to say about her, that's it. To step back and say that is a lot of influence. That's and again, probably pretty transactional. She does claim to care about the kids of the people on her team a lot.
Oh my gosh. I will never forget that one picture that I saw of her having skin to skin with someone else's child.
So I again, I don't have any kids. That seems like a pretty personal thing to not. It seems like it's not
not appropriate.
not appropriate to do with someone else's kid. I mean, I assume that the mom said it was okay, but there's also I just thought initially
She's
like
under
if
her undue
only
influence. That's why.
yeah. I thought that was something only a mom does with
That's
a
you
child.
know what? That's one of the things that pisses me off about her, that she likes to talk about relationships and if you're a mom this, if you're a mom that. How are you going to talk about something that you don't have?
Yeah.
How? Like, no. Like, if someone asked to do skin to skin with my kid, I would lose my mind. Like, I would lose my, that's a personal connection type thing. You might as well be asking me if you can breastfeed him. No.
Yeah.
Like, mm-mm.
It does seem like maybe potentially some boundaries are crossed with the what's the right term? The access she has to different families just from
It's
what
too
I've
much.
seen on her Instagram stories and seen from other people on stories that she said I guess she like says that she's people's like godparent before
Mm,
I don't know. And I guess maybe they because she has a lot of money, maybe that's the case. I don't know. I don't really know. But
yeah.
I don't know. It's just
We don't know if those are legit, but I mean, she does address a lot of her downlights kids, especially the ones in the
yeah.
lab or whatever, saying that those are her god babies, and she does whatever. And like, great if she actually has relationships, but from what I've heard from Erin, she's not the greatest with kids. Like she said, and this is like public information. She told Erin's son that he smelled like a dog. Had I been Erin, I would have knocked her ass out. Like, you are not going to come into my house, sleep at my house, and insult my kid. I don't know how Erin's husband didn't like say anything. Well, he was being respectful. He was being a gentleman. But if I was Erin, that would have been it. That would have been it. You're not gonna come into my house and insult my child, knowing how.
Yeah, it's a wildly different than what she portrays when the camera seems to be on. So it again, it just makes me have a lot more questions. And I'm the same. If someone had said that about one of my nephews, I would have been like, "We're about to fight. My husband's gonna have to bail me out at this point." So, yep.
Anything in my life, y'all know my story at this point. Like, I'm like, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. What do you think they did, guys? Of their consultants. Are you crazy? What do you think happens when you go to the database and you send out a mass email all about how crazy Jessie Lee?
It wasn't a crazy email. Erin showed it on her. Erin, I think Erin or Chelsea, one of them have showed it on their video that they've done about this whole when Erin was talking about the history of like the being let go. You can go read it. It's either on Chelsea or Erin's video. It's not crazy. It was just addressing a top leader being let go from the company and why
it was just a firm, concise email. That's what it was.
Yeah, and again, that's what normal, healthy businesses do. If you have a big member like from your team leave, or if you have someone from the C-suite leave, you let everyone in the that is associated with your company know about what happened, why it happened, why they did what they did. Like, that's what a normal company does.
I mean, Jessie Lee, as a business owner, you should know that.
Yeah, it's just to paint it that it was some like, and again, she's saying that they shouldn't have said anything because it pushed a lot of people to her new company. I mean, she makes a lot of money at Prove It. So, but again, regardless of whether it pushed people to her team or not, it was the right thing for the company to do, to be open with their communication with their team. And I don't like multi-level marketing companies. I'm not saying that Modere is great for doing that. I'm saying a normal business does that. A normal business does that.
Is Jessie Lee is doing this, Jessie Lee is doing that, Jessie Lee, Jessie Lee, Jessie Lee, Jessie Lee, Jessie Lee, Jessie Lee, Jessie Lee. If you didn't already know who I was, what do you think you did? You went to Facebook, you typed in Jessie Lee Ward, and you went, oh snap, I like her, she's smart, oh she's kind of cute. you cannot, I'm not going to tell you to stop doing it, but you're making me a lot of money. Guys, you need haters. Those are 3 perfect examples. 3 perfect examples of if they had not hated on me, I would not have the success that I have today. So you've got to embrace all 3. You've got to learn to embrace the haters. Because I'm telling you, you genuinely need all 3 to have a rich life. Whatever rich means for you, doesn't matter. You have to have all 3 to have a rich life. And on that, guys, I hope you got some value out of this. I hope you can identify the difference between your haters, your naysayers, and your lovers. I hope you're looking at this and you're like, you know what? Those haters are good for me. I hope instead of crying at night because you have people hating on you, you start throwing fiestas in your house because you got haters. Because if you got haters, you're doing something right. If no one cares about what you're doing, you're probably not doing much. Let me say it again. If no one hates on you for what you're doing, you're probably not doing much. You're probably not being a world shaker. You're probably not being an earthquaker. You're probably not changing the world. And you were not put on this earth to be mediocre. So let's rise up. Let's get ourselves some haters, some lovers, and some naysayers, and let's go, go, go. Thank you for all of your support on this podcast. If you have not already, please go rate it 5 stars. If you loved it, I'm sure you did. Feel free to share with a friend. I will be dropping business tips and life tips and coaching tips and all kinds of stuff very, very often and very consistently. So you want to make sure your people are on here. Thank you for all of the support. Thank you for all of the ratings. Thank you for all of the feedback. You guys have been total rock stars. And I know I can't
forgot the hate.
Out you.
Yeah.
So,
The haters.
Jessie Lee Ward. You can also call me Boss Lee. Love you, appreciate you. People's mentor is out.
Oh my goodness. Well, that was a 16. Well, I mean, it's been an hour and 21 minutes, but that was 16 minutes of podcast that we can never get back. Yeah. Hey, Lynn, thanks so much. Here's the thing. Live your life how you want to. There are some consequences for your behavior and what you say. And there may be some public pushback for ideas that aren't generally accepted. There's a pretty broad range of free speech, especially here in America. Again, if you're happy with how your life is going, and it seems like Jessie Lee likes how much money she's bringing in, she doesn't necessarily have to change. We would like her to change, but there's only so much of like listening to everybody's opinion kind of before you go crazy. Does that make sense? So like,
yeah,
you have to kind of figure out who you want to be, and then also say like, hey, for me, I'll give you an example. I don't have a lot of friends. I'm also an introvert. It would probably like help if I was more outgoing and being able to reach out to people and whatever that looks like. I can take some of that feedback and say, hey, if I was more outgoing, I might have more friends. Okay, that's feedback for me because I probably want more friends. She's obviously making a stupid amount of money, so I'm not sure. And maybe she thinks she's getting even more people on her team because we're obviously talking about her. I don't know. I'm not sure where I was trying to go with that.
I feel like with that though, the same amount of people that are joining her team because they find her through us or whatever is about the same amount of people that are leaving because she's talking about us. Like again, you can flip the script. And also this whole like hustle mentality, I don't know, like I was raised like that. Like my dad was always like, you have to work, you have to work, you have to work. And honestly, I have never, when I was like younger and I was still single and I didn't have a child, I didn't have a husband or anything, that was me. I would work 14-hour days every day, 7 days a week to have like savings and whatever. But again, I had nothing else. It was just me by myself, living by myself. And I had this beautiful apartment with like brand new stuff, like brand new couches and all this. And for what? I was never there. I never got to enjoy it. I never got to enjoy my dogs. I had to put them in like the doggy daycare or whatever. And now, like, sometimes we're a little bit tight on money. And sometimes, we got to do little adjustments here and there. But I'm much happier now being in this particular place, like where I'm at in life now, So,
yeah. Well,
Yuta doesn't want to be by himself.
no, it's cool. Yeah. So what did I get? We kind of saw what people thought in the live chat. Replay crew, y'all are the best. Let us know what you think in the comments. What do you think that she's off base or on base about appreciating the haters? Yours truly, and sending people to her. Now, again, I do like looking at the start of the content to the end. I don't like clipping information, so I don't want to take her out of context.
Yeah.
You might not agree with my Karina and my perspective about what she said. Let us know. Let's have a talk. As long as we're respectful in the comments.
Yeah, there really is no hate. We get called haters a lot, but there really is no hate. And I know I have said before I hate her. I cannot stand her, but it isn't necessarily that I hate her. It's just I hate what she's saying at the moment, and like this toxic culture that she's building around her and pushing onto people. That's what I hate. It's not her. It's not her. It has nothing to do with her. And again, I want nothing but good things for her. But also, I'm going to call her out on her behavior, because we could do both. We could do both.
Yeah, for sure. Well, episode 4 we're gonna do next week. I think I don't know what's on the docket for Karina, and I think I forgot to link your channel at the start of this. I'm gonna have to send you this video so you can put on your channel. Y'all know my
no worries.
Thank you again for joining us. I hope this series has been good so far, and if you have any advice or feedback, I'm open to hearing it in the comments.
I always come back and look at the comments for the replay crew. So when I'm on, I always come back and look at the comments. So
yeah. Well, thank you so much. We'll see you next time, and have a good rest of your Sunday. Bye.
Bye, guys.